Castle Street on a Saturday morning, all bustle and everyone scrutineering everyone else, with Alisad walking at my side in a fine new dress, both of us holding our heads high as lords, and nobody saying, "Look, see, there's Kneale's, don't you know, they used to be somebody." Or I dreamed my great-grandfather Juan, who I never met, but who was known as Big Kneale on account of being the only Kneale ever to make money rather than lose it. There he was, clear as day, leaning out of heaven with a telescope and calling out in a voice loud as thunder, "Put a sight on him, Ilium Quillian, my own great-grandson. Now there's a man who can." Then all of a sudden our dreamings were interrupted. Tom Tier was calling down from the masthead, where he was keeping watch. "Sail! Sail on the port bow!" Not that anyone thought much of his shout then. The English Channel is hardly the quietest stretch of ocean, so there seemed nothing too worrying in discovering another ship creeping along. The boys went on scrubbing down the deck, while Chief Mate Brew and myself carried on standing on the quarter-deck, making sure they kept at it. But you should know a little about the Sincerity, as there was a wonder all made of wood if ever there was one. Truly you couldn't imagine a vessel that looked more normal from the outside. I dare say she was a little old, her prow was round and blunt, and well out of fashion, and her quarter-deck was too high for modern tastes, but otherwise she seemed as ordinary as sea-water. I'll wager you could have spent all day aboard and still been none the wiser. Unless, that is, you had a particular eye for the measure of things, or you happened to take a look above the inside top rim of the door to the pantry. And that would be hardly likely. In my great-grandfather Big Kneale's day, now, such cleverness was never called for. The Isle of Man was still free and independent then, having yet to be bought by interfering English politicians, and as a free and independent land she took it upon herself to have her own free and independent duties on brandy and tobacco and such, meaning she had hardly any at all. Truly, that was the golden age of Man Island. Vessels sailed into her ports direct from every corner of the world, from Europe and Africa, from Indies, west and east. Why, her harbour quays were so piled with barrels and casks that a man could hardly reach his own ship. What's more, every cheap, dutyless drop of spirit or leaf of tobacco was as legal as King George himself. Naturally, it seemed a shame to soft-hearted Manxmen, such as my great-grandfather, to go hogging such plenty all to themselves, when there were poor desperate Englishmen, Irishmen, Scotsmen and Welshmen wailing and moaning at the scandalous cost of their taxed liquor. It seemed just kindness to load up a skiff on a moonless night and slip across the sea to some quiet edge of Ireland or Scotland, or, for that matter, England or Wales, as Man Island sits clean between all four, and help them out. Forget all this fashionable talk of free trade, as it's nothing but English mimicking. My great-grandfather was free trading before it was even invented. But I'm drifting off from that beginning we had. Tom Tier's second shout came just a moment or two after his first. "That ship on the port bow! Looks like she's a cutter!" Now here I think we all took a little notice, not that there was anything clear or certain, but this was definitely worse than just being sail. You see, though there are many ships that might be a cutter, there's one kind in particular that always is, and this was exactly the kind that we didn't want to meet. Nobody said anything. The boys carried on scrubbing and slooshing like before, and Brew and myself kept watching, but we were all thinking trouble. This little jaunt in the Sincerity was taking a chance, I dare say, but still it had seemed worth the